Got another one here from Metaphor. Thank you for the super chat, Metaphor. Greatly appreciate you, Metaphor, who writes, PFT Chris Sims did best non-NFC East draft yesterday. 6 of the top 10 players they drafted were Washington football team, including Chase and Terry going 1 and 2. Stand up. I mean, that's cool. Again, it just speaks to what I said earlier, that this is a really talented roster that we have in Washington. I mean, that's why you have pundits and talking heads and media types all alike from multiple different networks all saying the same thing. Washington is the team to beat in the NFC East. Washington is a team you need to look out for. And they always preface their conversation or their declaration with the same thing. If Ryan Fitzpatrick plays at a high enough level, okay? If they get enough production from the quarterback position. Because it may not ultimately be Ryan Fitzpatrick. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. So if they get enough production from the quarterback position in general, no matter who is back there, that's going to be the determining factor as to how good this team is and how far they could potentially go in 2021. Obviously, there are extenuating circumstances that we just aren't going to take into account right now. But, health is always a situation that you have to take a look at. But at the end of the day, all the requisite pieces are here outside of the quarterback position. As you mentioned in that draft, it was non-quarterback. Yeah, we're going to score really high in anything that has to do with non-quarterback because we're pretty damn good everywhere else. And that was the point that I just made, is that if you take quarterback out of the discussion, the window for the Super Bowl is open right now. We're open for business. The problem is you do got to add the quarterback in. That is the biggest part of the equation. And so that pulls us back down, and that closes the window, turns the little latch and locks the window, and we pull the blinds down. No. Your window is far from open. You don't have a quarterback. Now, do you? So if we get the quarterback or we get the play that we need out of that position, pull the blinds back up, undo the latches, push the damn window open, and now we may be able to go through. So I believe that, Metaphor. I truly do believe that. It makes a ton of sense. And it's crazy because do that same draft 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we may have 1, maybe 2 players in it, max. So just goes to show you how fast Ron's plan has worked. We can't give Ron all the credit. Can't do that. I won't do that. Okay? The foundation for what Ron is doing, the building blocks, the players that are here, a lot of those guys were drafted before Ron got here. The Ron Paynes, the Jonathan Allens of the world, those guys, Terry McLaurin, those guys were here before he got here. So he built upon what was already here and he took it to another level. So you got to give him credit for that. But you also got to make sure you pay homage to the dudes that were here that did the work, that helped us get to the position where we're at right now. And specifically, Kyle Smith. In any event, thank you for the super chat, Metaphor. Got another super chat. This one is from my guy, Carlton Pagano Jackson, CPJ. Thank you for the super chat and your generosity. Greatly appreciate you. As always, CPJ, thank you so much for the super chat. My guy CPJ writes, wow, Lou, just amazed how you put that into perspective. As long as I've been a fan of this team, I've never heard Super Bowl and our team in the same sentence. Just in 1 year with Ron's plan, we're already in talks. Wow. Hashtag Mob Squad, stand up. We in the building. That's right, CPJ. And that's the point that I'm trying to make, is that us in the phrase Super Bowl used to be like oil and water, right? Like the two didn't mix. Like you couldn't put those two things in the same sentence unless you were talking about back in Gibbs 1.0. That's the only time that we would talk about Super Bowls. Or we just signed a big name free agent and Snyder and company want to trot out the old Super Bowl trophies to remind people that, hey, once upon a time we did used to win here. We used to run shit around here. Well, those days are long gone. But Ron gets here. He changes things up. He changes the culture. And, you know, you look at this roster and the construction of it. And that is what is amazing in really 2 years' time. And I got to go back and give Kyle Smith his credit and his just due, because his last couple of drafts finally got Bruce Allen the hell out of the way. He was able to take over those last 2 drafts. They were phenomenal. You stack this one on top of the 2 he had his thumbprint on. The free agency period last year that Kyle Smith was in charge of was outstanding. The Logan Thomases, the J.D. McKissicks, the Cornelius Lucases of the world, the Peyton Barbers, all of those guys, all right, the Kendall Fullers. He did that. But Ron was there giving him the thumbs up. He had the final say so. But the foundation was being laid. It was being built. And now you put another strong offseason. William Jackson III and Curtis Samuel. Never, ever trust a man with 2 first names. And all of these guys that we acquired this offseason. And Charles Leno Jr. And you put it all together in this pot. And then you look at the draft and you're excited about, you know, De'Ami Brown. And you're excited about Jamin Davis and Samuel Cosme. And all these guys that we have brought in. And you look at Cam Curl's rookie season last year and you're excited about year 2. And you look at Cole Holcomb going into year 3 and you're excited about all of these young pieces. Then you have just a small smatter of veterans sprinkled in amongst the young group of players. And you say, you know what? This is a damn good football team. On paper, on paper, on paper. Have to say that, on paper. Don't want to get carried away because it has to translate onto the field. But on paper, you look at this roster and you say to yourself, could this team win a Super Bowl just looking at it on paper? If Jamin Davis is what we think he is, if William Jackson III comes in and do what we know he's capable of doing, if Kendall Fuller gets back to the level of play we know he's capable of, we figure out some shit at safety, put the right pieces back there. You know the D-line is the D-line. I don't even have to speak about them. You go to the offensive side of football. If Terry continues to be Terry, if Curtis Samuel comes over here, elevates his game, and he was outstanding last year, he comes here and gives us that and then some. De'Ami Brown is showing you the guy can ball. He comes in and gives us what we're looking for. We get more of what we got from Logan Thomas last year. You sprinkle in one of the young fellas, whether it's John Bates, or you look at Sammy Reyes, whomever it is, more likely than not, it's going to be Bates. You look at the offensive line, you find 5 guys that can get it done. We think we got 10 dudes that are capable of getting it done on the offensive line. You look at the running back position, we love all our backs. Hell, we think the guy that was undrafted this year, Jared Patterson, may have a huge impact on this football team and make the team. That's how deep we are. We're talking about undrafted dudes having an impact. I just went through the roster just now, and where is there a weak link? There isn't one. Except at the most important position, quarterback. And so for as excited as you want to get, and as far as you want to take it, you get the brakes put on you quick, fast, and in a hurry. Because it's the quarterback position. So, for me, it's a realistic possibility that we could win a Super Bowl. However, more likely than not, we won't. Why? Because we don't have the quarterback to do it. That's why. And let's be honest. Before we start talking crazy, I just wanted to bring that up. I didn't want you guys to think I'm saying we're going to win the Super Bowl or we're a Super Bowl team. Because we're not right now. We're not. What I'm telling you is, if, and I told you, a wise man once told me, if is the biggest 2-letter word in the dictionary. What if my head was turned backwards and I could see forward? I understand. If is a big word. If. But if we get what we think we are capable of getting out of the players that we're going to put on the field, and we think all of these guys are super talented, we have a chance to be a really tough team to deal with. But it could all come crumbling down because of one position. It's the most important position. You can't just gloss over that. It's not something that you can circumvent. You can't go around the quarterback position. We can work around. This ain't 1989. You can't work around the quarterback position. You can't have a strong defense in a run game and expect to work around the quarterback. That's impossible. The 49ers tried to do it. And in the biggest spot in the game, with a receiver wide open inside the 10-yard line with a chance for them to win the ball game, their quarterback overthrew them by 5 yards. At some point, you're going to need that guy to step up and make a play for you. You can run, but you cannot hide. The quarterback is going to have to make a play or 2 or 3 for you at some point in the season. And if you don't have that guy, you won't be able to get it done. So you can't deny that right now that's our Achilles heel. And again, it may be our Achilles heel now, and 8 weeks into the season, it may be a strength for us. But the likelihood is we'll be having this conversation again at some point this season where we say, man, this is a good football team, but man, do we stink at quarterback. That's a realistic possibility. And it'd be a damn shame if at some point they can't fix it before the window officially shuts, when you got to start paying these dudes and you lose a couple of them and it's not the same nucleus anymore. So I'm glad I was able to put that into perspective for you, CPJ. And there's a lot of people out there, a lot of fans that since they've become a fan, Washington and Super Bowl haven't been in the same sentence. And I just wanted to bring perspective. We're not a Super Bowl team yet. But this is a Super Bowl caliber roster, and that's what I'm trying to convey to you guys out there. Sans for the quarterback position. And that in itself is a reason for us to be excited, because we don't know what we're going to get out of the quarterback position. It could be a dud. It could be a stinker. It could be mediocre. It could be awesome. However, we don't know. It's a great unknown right now. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Ryan Fitzpatrick either.
LouieTeeNetwork.